Welcome back, explorers. Bryan here. Are you enjoying your trip through Asia so far? Great, because we've still got a lot of exploring to do. We've made stops in Southwest, Central, and South Asia, but now we turn to the East. Welcome, students, to East and Southeast Asia. Today we'll introduce you to the regions of East and Southeast Asia, identify the nations of each region, identify important political and economic structures, analyze the populations and their history, identify the primary physical characteristics, and describe the climates. As you learn today, pay attention especially to how this region compares to others we've studied in terms of relative location and political structures. Look for both similarities and differences along the way. First, let's take a look at East Asia. You know many of these nations already. In the northeast part of the map, you see Japan. Moving inland, you find the peninsula of North and South Korea, then China, with Mongolia to its north. Along China's southern coast are the administrative regions of Macau and Hong Kong, while off the coast is Taiwan, self-declared as the Independent Republic of China. Southeast Asia begins with Myanmar, located south of China. From there, the region includes Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Brunei. Whew! East and Southeast Asia have a rich history of early civilization rivaling the Fertile Crescent in Southwest Asia. Do you recall some early inventions from these regions? They include pottery, domestication of rice, a system of writing, and inventions such as paper, printing, gunpowder, and the compass. Buddhism, East Asia's most common religion, originated in India, but Confucianism and Taoism, both considered by many as a blend of religion and philosophy, began here, as did Shinto. These ideas and innovations were shared with the rest of the world thanks to the Silk Road, and heightened in the late 13th century when Marco Polo traveled here from Italy. In the 1500s, European traders arrived seeking to establish trade and colonize the region. Eventually, they succeeded. Cultural convergences with outsiders are not the only conflict the region has seen. The nations have at times been at war with each other. For instance, Japan conquered Korea and parts of China before World War II, helping to create the diverse political structures found in the region today. In the 1930s, China faced an inner conflict between communists and nationalists. The issue was seemingly resolved in 1949 as communists organized the People's Republic of China, while nationalists fled to the island of Taiwan. Later, communist movements took control of both North Korea and North Vietnam, and the U.S. intervened in an attempt to block each move. What do you know about communism? How does this political theory differ from what has existed in the U.S.? Vietnam today is communist, while Korea split into two countries. North Korea, like China and Vietnam, is a communist nation. By 1960, the majority of Asia had regained independence from European nations, and most are now either constitutional monarchies or republics. Like the differences in governments, East and Southeast Asia have stark contrasts in their economies. East Asia is home to some of the world's industrial leaders and major exporters. Can you identify a couple? Japan has experienced rapid economic growth since the mid-1900s, while China's economic explosion came later, when the nation moved toward more of a market economy in the 1990s. While some nations boast strong manufacturing and technology, others are more traditional. Countries such as Laos and Cambodia still have many subsistence farmers. A common crop, rice, is labor-intensive and farmed in terraces. East and Southeast Asia is a land of geographic diversity. You could find just about every landscape imaginable here, partly as a result of the collision of the Eurasian and Indian tectonic plates, which created the Himalayas. Want more mountains? Notable examples include the Tian Shan, the Altun Shan, the Kunlun, and the Pamir Ranges. Deserts? Yep, the Gobi in Mongolia and China is the 6th largest in the world. Peninsulas? How about the Korean or the Indo-Chinese, home to nations such as Thailand? Islands? Look no further than the nations of Malaysia, Indonesia, and others. Plateaus? In western China, the region of Tibet is both the world's highest and largest plateau. River valleys? Among the most prolific are the Yangtze, the Mekong, and the Yellow. How about volcanoes? Those such as Kyushu Island in Japan are located on the Pacific's portion of the Ring of Fire. Volcanoes and typhoons join earthquakes and tsunamis as natural disasters relatively frequent and often devastating in East and Southeast Asia. How do these compare to natural disasters that occur where you live? The Gobi Desert once had riders aboard Bactrian camels stopping at trade centers along the Silk Road. Now you can still see the camels or locals hunting with a golden eagle. Nearby are the grasslands of East Asia. They're inhabited by Argali sheep and snow leopards. The dominant ecosystem of these regions may be its forest. For instance, the tropical island rainforests of Sumatra and Borneo are the only place on Earth where tigers, elephants, orangutans, and rhinos share a habitat. In the region's mid-latitudes, forests are deciduous as the leaves change with the seasons. Wildlife here includes Asiatic black bears and giant pandas. And no, you can't take one home. Further north in the mountains, coniferous trees are the norm, and inhabitants there include leopards and red pandas. Just as ecosystems vary, so do the climates. While these two regions receive seasonal rainfall, East Asia's continental climate, shown here in purple, is hit with summer monsoons and occasional typhoons. Moving south, nations like Vietnam and Cambodia receive heavy rainfall. In tropical islands such as Indonesia's, there's little seasonal fluctuation in the temperature, and torrential rains are common. Temperate coastal areas like Japan see moderate changes in the temperature, while inland areas such as central China, with several nearby mountain ranges, see the greatest climatological variations. Why would central China have more variations in climate and precipitation? If you mentioned the orographic effect from the surrounding mountains, great job! In these two regions, there are billions of people. China, as of early 2022, is home to the world's largest population with more than 1.4 billion. Other nations here are among the globe's most populous as well. Indonesia ranks 4th, while Japan, the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, and Myanmar all are among the world's top 26. Cultural convergences from around the globe have led to one of the most religiously diverse sections of the world. Buddhism is most common in most of Southeast Asia, Mongolia, and much of China, including Tibet. Japan features a mixture of Buddhism and Shinto. Korea, Vietnam, and parts of China are divided between Buddhism and Taoism. In western China and Mongolia, bordering the Stan countries of Central Asia, Islam is the religion of choice. Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, and parts of the Philippines are also mostly Muslim. In fact, Indonesia has more Muslims than any nation on earth. And the rest of the Philippines is primarily Christian. One of the world's wealthiest and most modern nations, Singapore features a religious composition that reflects much of what we've learned about these regions. It's diverse, with nearly 1/3 Buddhist, 19% Christian, 16% Muslim, and 20% citing no religion. East and Southeast Asia offers a fascinating history with a variety of lands and peoples. What other regions to which we've traveled have as much diversity among their lands and people? That's all for today, but come back next time when we keep exploring.
Hey!